Hello and welcome to Yosifa's Corner. Today we have an amazing brother, um, philanthropist, as you may speak, because he's very prominent in the community, in the church family, and in his area of expertise. He works with men all around the world, and I'm speaking of none other than Mr. Andrew Landry, author, entrepreneur, and he does conferences and he loves on people. So let's go into the founder and owner, Mr. Andrew Landry. It's a broadcast that's already going on, so let's take a sneak peek. Does that include the woman in his life?
Yeah, I think the struggle is that, and this is a general statement, so it doesn't apply to every situation. But most men are generally looking to appease or satisfy the person in their life, that other woman. And so we spend a lot of time, those that are in that category spend a lot of time focusing on making sure that they're okay, that they have the things they want, that they have the lifestyle they want. And so a lot of times you look at parenting, you look at what does we need to do to make those people around us better or complete. And so a lot of times we pull back from the stuff that we really need because we're always focused, or our intent is to focus on those that are important to us.
Hmm, very good. So, do you think where the youth come involved, where fathers are absent in the family, is that still an excuse for what's going on in the world as far as the people that you mentor? The father not being present, or men, the uncle, grandfather not present, with these addictions. Of course, this is not a struggle that only men go through, but women as well.
Absolutely. I think the number one issue with America, the world today, is the lack of the father. The father is the cornerstone of everything, for every foundational piece of the family. So when you remove that component, then now you've taken the foundation and you are allowing uh, a different entity, is the way I will put it,
Mhm.
to be the head of that foundation, and it wasn't designed that way. And
Correct.
so when you take the father out the home, I don't say that it's really an excuse. I think it is the reason why we're in the condition that we're in. I think the problem is we use it as an excuse when we don't want to do the work to get better.
Not doing the work. That's huge. When you have where men hurt, what type of exercises or what type of advice do you give the men? Is there any homework assignments? Because we as women, we would like to know as well. Um, we hurt. And if we own up to our wrongdoing, if we pay attention and listen to the men that's in our lives, then we can learn how to mend and make the connection in our families, in our homes, and stop looking to the next door neighbor or the church member who has this elaborate um, marriage or a family that they have on display, but that's really not what it's like in home. Have a genuine and authentic relationship. I believe you first have to have a relationship with God, no matter what background you come from. But what exercises or homework assignments do you give to the guys, or anything that you can share with us?
So we don't necessarily do homework assignments per se. So what the way it's set up is we meet, and it's kind of like group session, maybe what somebody would maybe see kind of like AA, Alcohol Anonymous. You
Mm-hmm.
go in, you introduce yourself. We ask about what your occupation is. We ask family stuff. So we do a general introduction. Then after the introduction, then we open up the floor. So if there's any particular issue that a man is dealing with, here's that place where he can come and talk it out. So we deal with everything from domestic violence, infidelity, fatherhood, um, legacy. So we deal with all those things, and the information is always different because I'm not the primary information giver. I
Mm-hmm.
am the one to keep balance throughout the conversation. So I'll have a guy in there that's dealing with let's say he's dealing with infidelity, and then I will have a guy that responds to that, who every situation, every response will be scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the other side of the room, there'll be another guy who he will make an analogy. It'll be like, it's kind of like playing football. When you play football, you got to be on one team, whatever.
Okay.
So my job is to make sure that there's balance in that, because not everybody's ready for the scripture,
Mm-hmm.
and some folk may not be able to understand the balance between playing football. So my job is to make sure that they're getting the information from multiple sources. Their job is now to determine which one works well for them. And in the process of figuring out which one works well for them, then we try to pair them together with that person so that they can help walk them through that journey.
Hmm. Excellent, excellent. So I see now why God gave me the topic, making the connection, because you are the connector. You are the guy that keeps the balance. You're like the what's the guy, the official in between. I don't know nothing about football. So you're the referee. You make
Yeah,
sure that everybody gets their point on the board. You don't leave anyone out. And so what I'm hearing is it is a Bible based organization, because you do have the scripture there. And then you being, a prominent leader in your church family, the Lighthouse Church, you keeping the tabs, you keeping the score, and you're observing the room to make sure that nobody's missed, that everybody is touched by the information that's given.
absolutely. And I will say, it's not. I will correct. It's not Bible based. There are biblical principles.
Right.
So the thing about obviously being a nonprofit, we have no religious affiliation, right?
Okay.
Where Men Hurt is designed for all men, Muslim,
Mhm.
Islam, Judah. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It don't matter what your faith is. It don't matter what color you are. The only thing that matters to us is that you're a man. And
Yeah.
so the principles from mostly everybody's viewpoint is biblical. It's just a matter of how do you present that when you have a crowd of people that maybe don't believe in Jesus.
Mhm.
So if I got a Muslim and he don't believe in Jesus, then you telling me Revelations 12 and 11 ain't gonna work for his situation.
Right.
So it is being able to, my job is, like I say, to be able to say, hey, okay, that's good. That information is good, but how is it going to help him apply it in his life with a different belief?
Hmm. Very good. Very good. Interesting. Interesting. So if I'm gonna put you on the spot, spot here a little bit.
I'm
So,
good.
being domestic violence all around us in our community, we have a young man who we will say have children by his ex, and a part of being in his life, being in his children's life, he have to go through the mother. And a lot of times, the mother who isn't whole, she's still hurting. She is a blocker. She don't want the kids. It has to be her way. She don't want the kids to go with the father or his mother or his aunt because it's her way or the highway, right? Aren't we hurting the children that are involved when we do that as a woman that's not healed? And aren't we taking the responsibility of the father off the table when we do that?
Well, the first, you do hurt the children. Second, you take the power away from the man. And
Mhm.
because we are designed to be powerful, that's how God created us. Now you have stripped the thing. And the truth is, no, I'm gonna say it this way. My truth is once you strip the man's power, then you put his back against the wall where he has to fight. And that fight looks different, right? For some folks, it is actually violence. For some folks, it may be turned into alcohol. For some folks, it may be turned into drugs. It is you can't, as a woman, strip the man's power away from him and expect him to be an effective leader, because the leadership is in our ability to bring power to situations.
Excellent, excellent. But what about those guys who've never seen it? I believe what I'm hearing is where men hurt. I think you can strip down and provide a safe place for them to come and be vulnerable. It's a safe place for them to expose themselves, and whatever it is that they're going through, they can come to your organization and receive help, receive healing, receive a next step per se, um, and a way to redirect their anger or frustration or inability to function in public well with others.
Yeah, it is definitely the safe place. The thing that I have found, and so I don't know how many of your viewers know my story, but at 3, I was sexually molested. From 3 to 5, it was with a lady that was close to our family, and then from 6 to 16, it was a male that was close to our family. So then I developed those sexual habits, or that promiscuity. Um, but what people tend to not realize is that what you teach a kid to do as a child, they'll do it as an adult. And so when I tell my story, then many times the thing that they seem to be going through doesn't seem as bad.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell my story, now they say, oh, okay, they feel like it's safe.
Right.
If this guy can say this, then it must be safe. So 90% of the men that have been there more than once, we really are naked. Like, we really come in and we really give our truths away, many times to people that we don't even know. The key is it is a safe place. So
Mhm.
there's no pillow talk. My wife doesn't know what those conversations are about. The guys in that group know and understand that this here is our place of unity, our place of bonding, but it's also a safe place for us. And that is the key to really tapping into men. The last thing I'm gonna say before you say that is, every time, so I go around the world speaking about my book and speaking about my organization, the question that I get is, how do I get my man to open up?
Mhm.
The answer to that is, make it safe.
Mhm.
If your man comes to you let's say your husband or your boyfriend comes to you and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with lust." Well, the first thing typically women will do is kind of step back and wonder why they're not enough, wonder why they're not good enough. What is it about me? But if you would redirect that energy to, well, I understand that. How can I help you? Then now you get that man to open up and be more vulnerable, as opposed to you. When it comes to him as judging, you judge him, and now he shuts down and don't want to talk anymore.
With that being said, also I believe, if I may add, if we remain calm, if you're a whole person and someone that's broken coming to you with that issue or any issue, creating that safe place is how you also present yourself for them to come to you and be vulnerable. It's already taken a lot of confidence and courage to even come to your spouse to put this on the table. And if your table is junky and you have a lot of things on it, you have to clear that table so that your significant other is comfortable enough sharing the table with you. You create that safe place in your home so that that person will feel welcome to come and share and be open to whatever you have to say in love, because you have to love someone and have confidence in them, and the option and the advice, in order for them to be able to feel free and just relax their shoulders to say, man, I was able to share this, with my wife, with my girlfriend, my significant other, and she didn't judge me, she didn't look down on me, and she didn't throw it back up in my face. She's not bringing it up after every argument, or that's if I come home 2 minutes late and you must have been out doing something you didn't have any business. And it shouldn't be so. If you're really going to allow someone to heal, ladies, I'm talking to you. If you're going to create a safe place, allow that man to come to you and be open minded, open hearted. You say you love, let's love like we know to love. Let's exemplify that in which we want in return. I so
Yeah.
appreciate that. I so
No, it's hard
appreciate that.
though. It's hard. It's hard not to take that personal, right? And
Hmm.
so that's the struggle, is that it becomes a personal a feeling. I take it personal. So now, because I take it personal, then I have to go into either defense mode, question mode, whatever it is. But and it's by no means saying, "Hey, let the man do whatever he want to do and get away." I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if a man has brought that information to you, whatever it is, receive it openly. See how you can address it together, and then you can start tearing down some of those walls of communication.
Right, right. That is so key. Communication is key, and your body language, how
Yeah,
you respond, is just so needed in this time and age where our kids are watching us. And we've had a shift, in the universe where we want men to take the lead. We want you guys to heal. But in order for you to heal, we have to heal. We have to do the work as well. And I know I'm a woman and I'm full grown, and I can say I being able to submit to a godly man is something to look forward to. It's something to um be ready. You have to have your whole heart and mind prepared to serve and to listen, because it's two becoming one. And it's not easy, but when you can sit down and have a conversation as we're having right now with your loved one, how does that look? How does that look in your home? when you have to come, did you tell your wife right off of the back that, about the molestation or about your past? Or did you wait a while to know that you can trust her with your vulnerability?
For me, it's always a trust building thing, right? Me being able to know that I can bring my wife. Obviously we've been in this game for 10 years now, so
Yeah.
but it was some days that I was like, man, like, I don't want to do this no more. I'll pack my stuff and you can pack your stuff. So the whole idea that the marriage on display is great is false, right? If you
Right.
married, if you've been in a relationship for more than 2 days, y'all got some issues, right? And I think the thing, I was talking to somebody the other day that, people, oh, you and your wife a power couple. Hey man, look, me and my wife fight just like you and your wife and the people next door. We got days that we don't want to be here. We got days that we don't want to tolerate or put up with other stuff. We got those days.
Hmm.
The part that you see is the part that we want you to see, right?
Right.
But we're not afraid to say, hey, we some days we don't want to do this. And I think
Mhm.
the transparency and the vulnerability is what allows people to heal. So my first book, Overcoming the Addiction No One Has, it is the theme scripture is Revelations 12 and 11, which is they overcame him by the blood of the lamb and the word of their testimony.
Right.
As Christians, we recognize that the blood never fails. No
Hmm.
problem. We know that. The problem with people not overcoming is the word of the testimony. That's the part
Hmm.
that we leave off. And that's why people can't get healed, whole, and complete.
And yeah, the word of the testimony, people not speaking up. When I say it all the time. If you see something, say something. Don't wait until it builds up. Don't wait until you can no longer take it. Like, say it at that moment, because sometimes you just don't know that you're doing something wrong, or you doing something that triggers that old thing to come up. And it's unfair to one another for you not to speak it. It's unfair for that trigger to be happening and you have to control it within yourself. And then once it subsides, it goes away. No, it's a conversation. It's a starter, because you don't want to live life that way, to where you have to keep reset, and she's unaware or he's unaware that that is a trigger point for you. So I do agree that communication, beyond anything else, you've got to come together in a lot of areas.
Yeah. Now, communication is key. And I started to write another book, but I really don't like to write. So I just don't like to write. And I don't really like to read. But my other book was I'm thinking about is how to never argue with your spouse or significant other again. And there's two things that I tell everybody that I talk to. These two things will almost completely eliminate any argument, fuss, or fight.
Hmm.
The first question that you ask when they bring you something is, what would you like to see from me in this? Whatever it is, I'm dealing
Hmm.
with an issue. So, okay, babe, I hear what you're saying. What would you like to see from me in this? Because we oftentimes are looking to solve problems
Right.
when you may not be looking for a solution. So now I give you the opportunity to say, hey, I just want you to listen. Or, hey, I want you to go beat them up. Or, hey, I want you to go for a drive, whatever, right?
Yes.
So, what would you like to see from this? And the second question is probably the most important one: is how can I help you in this?
Mm.
So now it gives them the opportunity to really see what it is that they want, and it takes the defensiveness out of it. So even if they come in an accusatory manner, oh, well, I saw you doing this. Well, I hear what you're saying, but what would you like to see from me in this? Well, I like
Right.
you not do that no more, whatever it is, right? And so look out for that book, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Absolutely. Write it. Write the book, because I'm over here like, oh wow, like that's an open ending question. It takes the pressure off of you, And it also shows us that you're listening, you're paying attention. Because if you ask a question, that really means that you care,
Right.
that you're concerned, and you want to insert yourself in my situation. So
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely do it. When something is pressed upon you, you got to go ahead and go with it. Okay,
Yeah,
don't block your blessings now.
about that. About that.
Yes, please do. We'll be looking forward to that. You said it live, so we're gonna hold you accountable.
I ain't making no promises. I'm saying it's in my mind, but no promises.
That's all right. That's all right. It's gonna manifest itself. It's coming forward. So what do you do for fun? Like you go out, you have the foundation, the
Right.
organization where men hurt. You also have the book and one coming. So tell me a little bit about your restaurant.
So, opened my restaurant in April of this year. The name of it is Juicy Heads and Spicy Tails, Crawfish and More. We there, I guess in Dayton last year they had a crawfish cook off. We ended up getting first place. I think all unanimous first place votes. So I said, well, let me do this thing. And so I opened this restaurant. Probably not the smartest thing to do, right? I'm not really a restaurant tier. So
Mhm.
probably not the smartest thing. I didn't really do a lot of planning, but I know I have really good crawfish and I know how to cook really well. So I was like, I'm going for it. So I jumped in with both feet, and it's been a struggle trying to learn how to run a restaurant, but it's fun. It's great to see people that enjoy the food, that come back, that are always complimenting the things that we do. So I spend a lot of time trying to build my restaurant right now.
Okay, okay. Yes, a couple of friends and I was like, well, crawfish season, we know where to go. Especially on those days that the weekends where we like to get out and let our hair down. We have a
Yeah.
place that we can go. Then you have something called bingo.
hmm
Tell us about it.
So bingo, we do bingo annually at our conference. So we have the Where Men Hurt Men conference, which goes on every August.
Uh-huh.
We pick the last weekend in August because it leads up to Prostate Awareness Month. So we have a
Mm-hmm.
men conference, but the night before we have a bingo fundraiser. So the fundraiser is designed to, obviously bring in funds so that we can continue with programs, continue providing help, continue with, guys that may need some financial help. So we use that as a fundraiser, and we get a lot of sponsors and donations for different prizes. And people come in and play bingo and have a really good time.
Okay. Now, what does Andrew for fun?
I like to play dominoes. I like sports. Obviously, I don't have as much time as I used to running a restaurant, but tennis, basketball, dominoes. But probably my favorite thing is flying. I love to fly.
Okay.
So I'll get on a plane and fly to Dallas just to fly, or to Austin, or just because I want to fly. So I get a lot of thrills out of the plane taking off and going really, really fast. And so that's probably my self-care moment is probably flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've made the connection with everything that you've done, we've made the connection with Josephus Corner and where men hurt. How about a closing statement for those that um, are going through difficult times, don't know how to rebuild their family, they're struggling with moving ahead? They have an addiction, but they don't know how to own up to it. They still feel shameful. How what would you say to that person? What would your advice be?
So I would say this to any, and I talk primarily to males. So the first thing I say is that you're not in this by yourself. Like, this fight is not yours to fight by yourself. If you could do it by yourself, you'd be past it. So find a place where there's Where Men Hurt, where there's another organization that will give you an opportunity to express yourself. Then find that organization. We in this together. We can win, and we can win big. And our goal is to be able to reach and touch and impact the lives of every man that we come in contact with. And it takes an intentional effort, but we here for it.
And do you want to share what is your website? What is your information? If someone want to reach out to you, one man looking at this live video, and they say, "Hey, that sounds like an organization that I need to be a part of." Where can they reach you? How they get a
So
hold of you?
our website is wheremenhurt.org. Just like it sounds, just like it's spelled, wheremenhurt.org. You can call me personally. My phone number is 832-322-6948. I usually answer my phone. So if you call me, and if text me if you have to. But I have talked guys off of a ledge. I've listened to guys just need to cry. Guys need to vent. So just reach out to us, wheremenhurt.org. You can follow us on all social media, Where Men Hurt.
All right, all right. Well, we thank you so much for coming, sharing with Josefa's Corner today. You've been a great impact in the community and all of our lives as well. When we see you doing something, we want to support it. Give us a call, even if we're not invited in the room. Let us know. We can come help set up, and
Yeah,
we're there for you. We just a phone call away. We really appreciate everything that you have done and that you are doing.
I definitely appreciate it. And I'll also say that probably next year we're gonna do our first Where Men Hurt men's conference, women included. So
All right.
y'all be on the lookout for that.
All right, all right. I think we harassed you long enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
I'm giving in. I think I'm giving in. So we're actually in our planning stages for that. So be looking forward to that. Because one of the things, and one of the things I'll say before I leave is that we get this information. Like, the men's conference is like packed with information. So we look at where men hurt physical health, where they hurt mental health, finances, relationships, sexually, spiritually, um, and their legacy. So we look at the different areas. So we have dynamic speakers come in and talk about those different topics, and then we have a Q&A panel. The problem is that we're not really good at follow through. So we'll get the information, but we won't do nothing with it. The reason why we want to kind of introduce women is that my wife needs to be able to hear my urologist talking about prostate awareness. And so the urologist will go through his program, and they say, yeah, you have a weak stream, right? So when you're using or urinating, you have a weak
right.
stream. So you got a weak stream, so that may be an issue with your prostate.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to the bathroom and I'm just using the restroom, and I ain't thinking about no weak stream, right? I'm just, oh, okay, maybe I didn't have to do it as much. But my
Hmm.
wife hears the information at the conference, and now she passes by and she's like, hey, something ain't right. Let's go get it checked out. So being able to provide women an opportunity to be another advocate or source for their men is the reason why we're looking at joining the women this year. next year.
Absolutely wonderful. And that too is the reason why the Rhythm Foundation do what we do. Is because as a partner, you all can help us in ways to when you notice something is wrong, a lump in the breast or on the side, then you can tell us that something is wrong. So I absolutely get it, and I applaud you for that, for being open-minded and receiving us, because we want to be in the room and we want to help. And I think that is a part of healing for us and for you in order to make the connection. So I really applaud you. I really received that well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everybody, you hear it? Got it first right here on your Cephas Corner. Look forward next year. I'm going to be in the place. Thank you so much, Andrew Landry.
Thank you much. Thank you.